Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on wherever you might be watching this. I'm Laura Twemlow. I'm from People Make It Work. And we are a community of people who are passionate about the arts and cultural sector. We work to support organisations, individuals, freelancers to change, transform, and develop the arts and cultural sector so that it's reflective of everyone's culture. And today I am delighted to be joined by Amy. Amy Dalton-Hardy is part of our community. And it would just be great, Amy, to hear from you about your practice, what you love doing, and why you're part of the People Make It Work community.
Brilliant. Thank you, Laura. Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name's Amy, like Laura said. I work as a freelance consultant, and I've been freelancing now for nearly 6 years. Took the leap just as Boris locked us all down in 2020, and it's been an interesting ride. Let's put it that way, over the last 6 years. Meandering, zigzagging, and I'll come back to that in a moment. But the early part of my career, I was in the senior team of a fairly large NPO in very rural Lincolnshire. So I spent a decade living and working in Lincolnshire. And so that kind of grounded everything that I know now, if you like, and everything that we built the foundations and the kind of scaffolding to, what I use now in my practice as a freelance consultant. But essentially, I led a program and a large team for that NPO. And my background is in dance. So my OG art form, if you like, is dance. I'm a dancer like inside me. If someone sliced me open, I think you'd probably find, a pair of ballet shoes. I love it. I love it. And I still dance now, kind of just for myself. I feel like I've transitioned out of being a practitioner, although that's where my career started. As a community dance artist, went to vocational school, worked in the community and worked my way up through management and leadership in that NPO that I just told you about. And since then, it's been a wild ride, a wild ride. When I left that role in Lincolnshire, I moved over to the West Midlands, relocated, and did a couple of really interesting different roles in an employed capacity. And then I thought, you know what? It was in one of those roles that I was working in Birmingham, technically as a funder, not the Arts Council, another funder distributing funds by way of commissions and projects and bursary support for West Midlands based dancers, dance artists, and companies. And I learned pretty hard and fast in that job. Oh my goodness me, the funders have got it hard. As in, the funders have got it hard, but also the artists and the organizations have got it harder. Like there was a real mismatch. I learned hard and fast. One, what makes a really good proposal and a really good bid as the person reviewing them and being in the person awarding money. So I learned from that perspective. And then when I was working with artists as a kind of relationship manager at the same time in that same role, I was like, oh my goodness me, the where artists are is really far away from where the funding is. So I thought it was in that time, and so that role was for Dance of Birmingham, hosted by Culture Central, and I was based in the city of Birmingham. Got to know the whole scene really quickly, and really grew my network then in that role in the West Midlands. So I then had this two-sided kind of network, if you like, loads of folks that I knew and worked with and highly respected and colleagues and friends in the East Midlands. And I am an East Midlander by heart as well, actually. I'm from Leicester. So that's kind of my heart and soul. Moved over to the West Midlands, grew this new network, did this role, and I was like, oh my goodness, there's something here, and this is a bit beyond producing. Because often artists would say to me, I just need a producer. And I was like, do you just need a producer, or do you need someone to hold your hand and support you, or to guide you or mentor you? So that was where the seed was planted for my freelance practice. And then after that, I picked up a role with Motion House and spent a year at Motion House. And then I thought, now is the time. I was kind of yearning to be my own boss. Took the leap, handed my notice in. Then Boris locked us all down. And then it's been, here we are, fast forward in time. 6 years later, I've done lots of different things as a freelancer. I have worn many hats, as many of us do. And initially, I did a lot of producing work as the secondary art form, if you like, in my expertise is outdoor arts and festivals, and placemaking and place-based work. So I did a lot of outdoor producing because I feel like that was the first sector to really open up properly when we returned from COVID lockdowns and the world reopened. And then I started working with artists as a producer, individual artists, small collectives, started producing fairly large scale participatory projects across the region, the Midlands, East and West together. And then I thought, there's got to be something more in this. I see a need for organisations, whoever they are, whatever scale, whether they're in receipt of Arts Council or other subsidy or not, to be that person to kind of hold their hand, guide, support, mentor. So that's essentially what I do now, as a consultant and a mentor and a facilitator and a person who wears many hats. So yeah, so that's me.
Love that. Yeah, multiple hat wearing and that sort of sense of seeing both sides of the coin. Just it's a really sort of great insight to have been in, had a foot in multiple camps to be able to bring that sort of insight and knowledge to your role now. Amazing. Thanks so much for that.